I'm Jim Check. I'm here with Lyndon Dias. This is take two. We started off and then it froze, but we're back.
Some small technical difficulties.
It's because we were talking about that golf thing.
Yeah, which was good. I mean, we weren't done talking about that golf thing, right? Because ultimately, yeah, you got to be careful out there on the beautiful sunny days hitting into other groups.
Other people, yeah. So Kelowna going to be famous in the world stage here probably because two foursomes actually.
Yeah.
Got into some fisticuffs over
the 1-2 at Two Eagles.
The 1-2 at Two Eagles.
The 1-2 combo at Two Eagles there. That's what I think we'll call that.
If you want to see it, you can go on Kelowna now. The story's on there, but they got a little anxious with each other for sure, and it turned it into a guy got a broken jaw.
A big enough story for us to shift from benefits to talk about the scrap on the golf course, right? Which lets you know it's.
Well, you got to have good benefits.
Hey, that guy might need a massage.
You might need more than that.
There's a lot of things benefit plan might be able to take care of. Hey,
you might need a counselor.
We're not laughing at them. We're just laughing at the situation, right? Golf is meant to be a peaceful event, and yeah, interesting.
You would think so. Yeah, you would think so. Yeah.
I like to relax out there at least, you know.
I haven't seen. I mean, to be fair, for Kelowna golfers or the Okanagan golfers, that's the first I've ever seen something like that. So it's highly unusual. That's why it's going to go.
I see it on different parody accounts. I mean, it's hilarious, but for it to happen in your own backyard, I guess was interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, I was golfing with a guy that hit the ball into a group of older gentlemen out at Gallagher's once because he got into a ball at more than he thought he did, 300 yards or something like that, and rolled up on them. And then when we got up there, they lectured us for like 20 minutes.
Which is, I understand. I think we've all been in that situation where it's an accident, right?
Yeah. And we apologized for 20 minutes.
Sorry, we're Canadian. Sorry.
Sorry. Like, you know, my ball won't go more than 200 yards, so I didn't need to apologize.
You get to hit first. We're safe.
There you go. We're going to talk benefits. So the role of the broker, Lyndon Dias runs TD Benefits, and the only chamber benefits provider too in the Okanagan Valley.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. You're right. And, you know, we spent a lot of time discussing the reasons why businesses set up benefits. You know, of course,
we're gonna get rid of this rocky glass, Steve.
You know, the retain, the retract, the reward. But what about the role of your broker? You know, when businesses green light to set up the benefit plan, right? So ultimately, you already went through the process of reviewing the programs and the quotes. You fine-tune the extended health and dental plan you want to implement for your staff. You got to see the flexibility. You got to pick and pull the benefits that are going to be, you know, the best for your team moving forward. So what does it look like now when we say, hey, we want the plan set up for May 1st? You know, how does your broker make that, you know, situation as easy as possible on you, right? So, you know, I just wanted to spend a bit of time answering the commonly asked questions in this situation just to familiarize businesses with it so they understand really, you know, it's our role to simplify the whole process and, you know, make it as simple as possible on them just to make the experience extremely positive and enjoyable, especially for the staff, right?
Because you develop a relationship with your broker as well because, you know, typically you're with that broker for
Exactly. I mean, the goal is to have your clients, you know, the businesses you work with contact you in your office for all ongoing support and administration, right? I mean, you don't necessarily want them dealing with the group insurance carriers. Sure, they're great, but like, you're calling a 1-800 number, right? And, you know, for us to be local and have that representation, the goal is to service you completely, right? So, I mean, let's say a business says, hey, let's go ahead May 1st. I mean, what does this mean for their staff? I mean, myself, I want to come in and I want to, if possible, meet with your staff. I want to go through the benefit plan in full. I want to familiarize your team with it, let them know the nuts and bolts of the coverage that you as the employer are offering, you know, why you're setting this plan in place. And then, of course, letting employees know how they're going to access their cards, how they're going to get access to their numbers, how can they review their coverage details, just making that overall initial experience extremely positive for those businesses so that they can, you know, just start running with no waiting periods and have full access to their employee benefit plan as of the implementation date.
And I'd say too, like having somebody local, just like a news outlet, having local reporters, having local brokers, they're going to care about your company more because they're going to see you in the grocery store because it can be held more accountable, right? Because obviously if you're just a 1-800 line number or, you know, like a national reporter or something like that, you don't have as much connection to the community, but being a local broker, see them at the golf course and maybe you won't fight them if you know who they are.
unless they hit into me, you know. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's exactly right, Jim. I mean, that's, you know, that, and it's so like, it's like that in Kelowna all the time, right? You see people, it's a very busy community. So like having that local support's nice, and doing different things and events in the community, you do bump into your clients, and you know, it's just nice to have that local representation. And our offices, you know, our outlook and what we like to say is we want to play an ongoing role. We don't just want to, we get it, renewals happen. And in the early stages, your clients need to understand how renewals work. That's also a very important part of moving forward in a benefit plan. Are you fully educating, primarily the individual who's the plan administrator or the owners on what to expect with renewals? Why do rates fluctuate? Why do rates change? All these things. And the local representation.
The level of care you're going to get from somebody that's local, that, like I said, you're going to run into maybe at a hockey tournament, you're going to run into, and that's why I say, like, don't road rage in Kelowna, because you might go to a meeting and that person you road raged with might be in that meeting.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a small town.
It is.
Road rage and those types of things are fighting at a golf course.
I always say that too. Like, if the vehicles are driving around with like their business
decals on the side,
card, those are the vehicles you want to make sure you're never road raging in, because it's literally a direct reflection of your
They're just going to phone. They're just going to phone and say,
"Excuse me, I saw the plumbing company. He was fingering me as I."
Yeah. So like the big thing is though, like, you could choose between like bigger brands or whatever. Maybe it's on some other thing, but like, you're just never going to get the level of service that you're going to get from somebody that's a local broker, and I'll say a reporter or anything, like, like even a local store, because they care about the community that we're in.
Of course, right? And I mean, not trying to say it's perfect across the board on how we service the clients, but we try to do our best. And I mean, just in those early stages, we feel it's the most critical. So when we're rolling out the plans, like I said, we really want to be a front and center with your staff. We want them to know who to contact if they have any concerns. It's our office, because we're going to call the provider if there's an issue with a claim. We'll call a dental office. We'll get to the bottom of it. You're busy running your businesses, right? You don't, as much as you're putting these plans in place to, reward and treat your employees the best you can, as your broker locally, we want to take that all on under our wing and make sure they're taken care of.
And that's a relationship that continues. Like, I believe our relationship is quite old.
It is
20 plus years maybe. It's a relationship that grows, and then if you go to the golf course and you're golfing, you got somebody to back you too. Tough guy, right?
Oh yeah, let's not tell anybody that.
No. But
lover not fighter.
Yeah, that's right. But it definitely is about the relationship, and then you care about the company, and then when there's new things that come along, you actually, you'll share that too.
It's just like you do with your clients. For us, we want to set you up for success, right? Going through all the behind the scenes details that you should be aware of from like the plan administrator side of things of managing a benefit plan. That includes onboarding employees. Businesses start with 3-4 employees, and 4 or 5 years they grow, and then they could have 15 plus employees on a group plan, right? Like, how do we educate you so that onboarding staff is smooth, and terminating staff if you do have turnover, removing them from a plan, accessing billing statements in your plan admin portal, all these things that we should just be making as easy as possible on you as these plans are set up, so that the experience is extremely positive. It's just what we want to do. It's the role of your broker. So it's not just, hey, here's the programs, let's set it up, and we're distant. We want to be as active as possible, and it's just important that you revisit these processes, because they're very similar for the businesses. The group plans don't have to be, but the processes should be, right, on what to be expected, and just keeping it positive.
There you go. And we live in one of the most beautiful places, and then now supporting local and the local community, local business community is more important than ever with what's going on in the world. But again, we live in if you look at our backdrop here, it's one of the most beautiful places.
What a day is right.
What a day. Great day for golfing.
It is. Maybe the range at least.
Maybe wear a hockey helmet.
Not a bad idea.
Anything else you want to touch on today?
No, that's really it. I mean, the role of your broker, I hope that, businesses out there with benefit plans, whether client or not, are well taken care of. And, if we have the opportunity to service you, we want to ensure that, these things are always being met, and, they're important, right? I mean, it's a great privilege to work with a lot of businesses in this community, so we don't take these things for granted.
There you go. Last golf joke. It pays sometimes to be able to hit not very far, like a short hitter.
Yeah, I know. It does.
You don't want to be longer. How far can you hit the ball?
I don't know.
350?
No, I wish. That's Bryson DeChambeau.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
He must be banging on the door 280 or something like that, though, eh?
Yeah, probably around 275-ish. I mean, on a hot day, maybe sneak up on 300 if you get all of it. But hey, man,
I've hit.
Do we really ever know where it's going?
I've hit the ball about 280 down on that Gallagher's one, down the hill.
Yeah, when there's hills involved, we get a little bit of a nice assist.
There you go.
Sure. But I haven't even played yet this year. It's just
you haven't played yet?
No, I mean,
I've only played a couple of times, 9 holes at the Pinnacle.
Hopefully that's Pinnacle's a great course.
Yeah, beautiful area.
No fights there. You're safe.
It's an older crowd for sure. Well, although that was an older crowd. You just know there's a lot of angry people, obviously. Hopefully that's our only claim to fame in the golf course for a long time to come.
Yeah.
But maybe they put a rule up or something like that now.
No fights on.
Anyway,
box 4.
Always fun to have Lyndon here talking about benefits, something that's really important to have. Benefits are one of the things that employees ask for all the time. And do you have benefits? That's one of the first questions we always get. Do you have benefits?
Awesome.
So a lot of people won't even consider it if you don't have benefits when they're looking for employment.
No, it's fantastic. It keeps us busy. It's fantastic. And we're always happy just to speak to it if anybody's interested, right?
Yeah, so there'll be a link in the bottom of this and in the story that we put out. And it'll have Lyndon's contact details. It's free to talk to you.
Of course, yeah.
And get an idea, even if you want to compare benefits, and if you have a national brand where you don't have somebody that's local, maybe it's a good time to chat with somebody that's local.
Yeah, good point. Definitely could be. So appreciate that.
There you go. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time we're together again, maybe on the golf course.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, thank you for watching.